would be very difficult, to read each and every line of the play, right? So important lines we would be doing, and these are the days again. Then tomorrow and uh, day after tomorrow, there is holiday, right? So I would expect you that for these 2 days you can read the act 2, all the scenes. There are just 3 scenes here in act 2, right? So you can read these scenes, and then we can discuss it. I don't think there would be much of any problem with that, right? So okay, now we move to act 2, which I was just talking about. And in act 2, let me open this. I have not opened it yet. So act 2, there are 4 scenes, not 3 scenes, but there are 4 scenes. See, 5 scenes in, you can make a chart in this way, that in act 1 there are how many scenes? Act 1 has how many scenes?
5 scenes.
5 scenes. And act 2 has how many scenes?
4.
4 scenes.
4 scenes. So what is the important thing happening in each scene? You can just make a chart of it, right? For example, in act 1, scene 1, there is, the important thing is distribution of the kingdom among 2 daughters and expulsion of Cordelia, right? This is what has happened. In scene 2, it is introduction of the subplot. Edmund and Edgar, they Edmund plans a conspiracy to divide Gloucester and Edgar, the eldest son. Yeah, okay, that is important. Then in scene 3, what happens? Can anyone tell?
Ma'am, Gondril tells Oswald to disobey the king so that she can provoke sort of a
Yes, she
confrontation
can
with his
provoke.
father.
Yes.
Huh.
And scene 4,
Ma'am, Kent comes as a peasant in the court and he talks to the king about, about taking him in service. He disguises as another man, and then the fool enters, and then he tries to tell the king indirectly that he has made a mistake by uh, sending Cordelia and giving his all of his kingdom to his 2 daughters and leaving nothing for himself.
this scene 4 is most important. Just remember, whenever you remember act 1 scene 4, don't forget fool. The fool comes into the play for the first time in act 1 scene 4, right? And he is telling the truth very bluntly to King Lear, and King Lear cannot say anything because he is a fool, so he is supposed to speak truth, right? Now scene 5, what is happening in scene 5? Act 1 scene 5, anyone? Here Lear along with his 100 knights is leaving for Ekta, Meena. There are 2 students who want to enter the classes. Let me admit them. So here King Lear along with his 100 knights, he is preparing to leave Goneril, and still he has confidence that Regan is going to accept him, right? And Fool is again warning him that there is a problem and there is a risk involved, and what he has done is a foolish thing, right? So that kind of small guilt and fear that Regan, whether she is going to accept or not, something like that comes, and Fool is going along with the king, right? Now as we move in act 2, here the scene completely changes. Again it comes to Act 1 scene 2 में हुआ था Edmund and Gloucester. Again here that same story continues with this. Okay, so here what is happening is that Ayushi Pachori. Okay, so here what is happening is that Edmund meets
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, can I ask my doubts? Few of my doubts.
Sure. Come with your doubt.
Ma'am, in the first scene,
Yes, you had asked something, no, in the first scene
yes,
about
ma'am. Trajan saying that I prize me at her worth. I am made of the same self metal as my sister, and I prize me at her worth. So, what does that phrase mean? Prize me at her worth.
prize me means whatever you are giving to Goneril, you should give the same to me because I equally love you.
Okay, ma'am.
Right.
Yes,
Any other
ma'am.
doubt so far?
Yes, ma'am. The whole thing that you explained about the crown, no, in fourth scene, I was not able to understand it. Can you please re-explain it quickly?
When he's comparing with egg.
Yes, ma'am. The fool is comparing.
Fool says that this doubt you all must be having. So let us complete, because with this doubt Act 1 will be clear. A fool says that he compares the crown with the yellow portion of the egg. You all have seen egg. Okay, so when you break the egg, the white part or that colorless transparent part spills out, right? It becomes shapeless, but the yellow part still has that shape, right? It is round. Okay, so but what happens when you cut that yellow part into half? You do not get two halves, right? What you get is just the thing is destroyed, that shape is destroyed. Okay, so this is what he is comparing the crown, that when you have divided the crown, then this crown, divided crown, is of no use. Now you are sheltered less because that crown itself is lost. The shape of the yellow portion half, it doesn't split into two yellow halves, right? So in this way kingdom cannot be divided between the two daughters in this way, and then living alternately with each daughter. This cannot be done. King, as long as he is alive, he should be the king. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So again, you can read Act 1 scene, all the 5 scenes, and during these holidays, and then let's come to Act 2. In Act 2, Scene 1, again the story shifts to Edmund and Gloucester, right? And now they are talking about there is a person named Curran. Okay, and he informs about Duke of Cornwall and all that. So I think that portion can be skipped, nothing important. But what happens basically, what is important is what is happening between Edmund and Gloucester. Edmund has compelled Edgar to flee away from the kingdom, and Gloucester thinks that Edgar is responsible for him being is him being put in the danger, and he is going to be killed. Okay, so now should I come to the original text? Do you have got the text with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so just few lines I am going to read from that. Let me open the lines first. Yeah, Act 2, Scene 1, Gloucester's castle is there, right? Edmund and Curran, they enter. Edmund wishes him, right? And then after that,
Ma'am, what is the role of Quran?
nothing important, minor character. See, every play has major and minor, every novel has major and minor characters. The role of minor characters always is to push the events forward, right? So just what action has, when minor characters come, just pay attention to what action is going to be going to take place, right? You don't study minor characters in detail. So Have you heard of no likely war towards between the Dukes of Cornwall and Albany? Now this person just informs that there is a chance that a war can be fought between, kingdom has been divided into two, so both dukes may fight war against each other. Right, now he, with this information, he goes off. Now exit. Then Edmund, the duke be here tonight, the better the best. This weaves itself perforce into my business. My father has set guard to take my brother. Father has sent a man to catch Edgar, and I have one thing of a curiosity question, which I must act. Briefness and fortune. He says, I have just got a very small portion of time before Edgar is caught. I have to fulfill my plans. Got it? Enter Edgar. My father watches, oh sir, fly this place. Now he is saying, Edgar comes to Edmund, and Edmund is saying that you should go from this place, so that father is unable to catch you, because he is going to kill you now. He thinks that you are the one who is going to damage his reputation and honor. You have now the good advantage of night. It is night time, just go away from here. Okay, he is coming in now. हाँ, yes,
बात करी लगाया
someone, हाँ बोलो, कोई कुछ बोल रहा है? Okay,
Ma'am,
now
her mic is open.
okay, so Edmund now says, please mute your mics, all of you. Okay, so Edgar goes off, right? Only this has happened so far. Now these lines again you can skip. Gloucester comes and he says, where is the villain? Who is the villain? Can you guess now? According to Gloucester,
Edgar.
Edgar.
So Edmund says, fled this way, sir. When by no means he could not escape, so he just went away this way. Pursue him, go after. He's sending servants after his own son. Persuade me to murder of your lordship, but that I told him the revenging gods against parricides did all their thunders bend. He is saying that he was trying to persuade me that I should murder you, but I told him that the revenging gods, the gods who take revenge, who are angry gods, they are always against parricides, killing of the parents. Okay, when if a child tries to kill the parent, then gods take revenge upon him. In what way? By bending all the thunders in that direction. Thunders will fall upon onto that person to kill him, to take revenge. Spoke with how manifold and strong a bond the child was born to the father. Sir, in fine, seeing how loathly opposite I stood. He was telling about the father-son relationship, and and as he was saying, I stood opposite. I stood to his unnatural purpose. His purpose is unnatural. Now see, this natural and unnatural word, they are also very important in the age of Renaissance, because natural and unnatural also means ethical. Something that can be accepted by human beings, something that cannot be accepted by human beings. So killing of parents is an unnatural purpose. Okay, so with his prepared sword he charges home. He has got the sword and he is going home. My unprovided body lands mine arm, and when he saw my best alarmed splits, bold in the quarrel's right, roused to encounter, he was going to kill me too. Full suddenly he felt. Okay, now he's saying that Gloucester's speech is there. He's saying that he is going to catch him, and Edmund is again saying something. You can skip all these things. Now come to Cornwall. Cornwall, who is Regan's husband. How now, my noble friend, since I came hither, means here. How now, my noble friend, since I came here, which I call, but now I have heard strange news. He has heard something strange. So Gloucester is saying, my old heart is cracked. I am old, aged person, and now my heart is broken. Why? Because his own son is trying to kill him, according to him. What did my father's godson seek your life? He whom my father named your Edgar. Edgar, this name was given by my father. Is he trying to kill you? Oh, lady, lady, shame would have it hit. Yes. Was he not companion with the righteous knights that tend upon my father? Were the knights who are with my father helping Edgar to kill you? He says, I don't know. Edmund, yes, madam, he was of that consort. He was among them. Means he is not a good person. Right? Now all these dialogues again you can skip. I'm skipping these all things because that is not important. They never come for explanations. Now this scene is complete and this was Act 2, Scene 1. Let's move to Act 2, Scene 2. Yeah. Here it is Gloucester's castle. Kent and Oswald, they come here. Good dawning. Good dawning means good morning to you, friend. Are of this house. Are you in the house? Okay. He says yes. Oswald, where may we set our horses? He has come with the horses. I would the Maya. He's just telling the place. Again, you can skip these lines between Oswald and Kent. See, Oswald is important servant because he is close to which daughter?
Goneril.
Goneril, yes, Goneril. Okay, then again Kent is talking something. Again, I'm skipping all these lines. Ha, here. Regan says the messengers from our sister and the king. Some messengers have arrived here from Goneril's place. What is your difference? Speak. Oswald, I am scarce in breath. He has come hurriedly to report that king has left from that place and you should not let king come into your kingdom. He has come with this message. Got it? Lear, along with his knights, he has left Goneril's place and he is to enter the kingdom of Regan. But before he comes, Oswald comes on his horse and he reports Regan that King Lear has left Goneril's place and be prepared to refuse him entry into your kingdom. Got it? Now, again, skipping all these things, just you can go through the summary of this act, right? Because your syllabus is vast and it would be very difficult to go scene by scene. I just guess that. Come to the next scene now. Scene Act 2, Scene 3. Yeah. Now see this, I would like to read the complete each and every line here. Okay, so here what is happening? Edgar is saying, I heard myself proclaimed and by the happy hollow of a tree escaped the hunt. He knows that his father is after him. So he is saying by the happy hollow of a tree. He entered the hollow of the tree and he escaped when the soldiers came hunting upon him. No port is free, no place. There is no port through which he can travel to because all these people, all his father's people, they are keeping watch on the port that he should not leave the kingdom and he is to be caught. That guard and most unusual vigilance. The vigilance that they are keeping upon me is unusual. Does not attend my taking. And so I cannot escape at any place. Whilst I may escape, I will preserve myself. If I succeed in escaping, I can save my life and am bethought to take the basest and the most poorest shape that ever penury in contempt of man brought near to beast. Now this is saying that, he's saying that I am bethought. Look, people think about me in the basest way, that I am to kill my father. People think about me such a mean things and most poorest shape that ever penury. Penury is coin, money, poverty, in contempt of man, in hatred towards man brought near to the beast. When a man hates man and tries to do something very bad, he is close to a beast. He is close to an animal. My face I shall grime with filth. Let me dirty my face, soil my face, blanket my loins. I'll cover my legs. Elf all my hair in knots. I'll tie my hair in knots so that I look like a mad person, and with presented nakedness outface the winds and persecutions of the sky. And now I don't have proper clothes to hide my nakedness, and I am open to the sky. I will now catch cold, the winds, storm, everything. The country gives me proof and precedent of Bedlam beggars. Now, how I would dress myself? Like the beggars of Bedlam. So he becomes Tom of Bedlam. Tom of Bedlam. With the roaring voices strike in their numbed and mortified bare arms. Now he is preparing himself to mask himself, change his appearance as Tom of Bedlam. That means a mad person from Bedlam, and live in the same kingdom. Is this clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Act 2, Scene 2. Okay, now coming to Act 2, Scene 3. Here. Sorry, this was Act 2, Scene 3, right? Now coming to Act 2, Scene 4. Yeah, just wait. Act 2, Scene 4. Let me open it. Yes. Now enter Gloucester's. It is Gloucester's castle. Kent is there. So King Lear, fool, and gentleman. These three persons, they enter here. As I learned the night before, there was no purpose in them of this remove. I know that Goneril has removed Lear for no reason. Hail to the noble master. Ha! Makest thou this shame thy pastime? You are trying to, pastime is hobby. Shame means I have been shamed by my daughter, insulted by my daughter, and you are enjoying this. So Kent says, no, my lord. Now again, fool. Haha, he wears cruel garters. Horses are tied by the heads, dogs and bears by the neck, monkeys by the loins, and men by the legs. When a man's over lusty at legs, then he wears wooden nether stocks. Now again, he is using that same Renaissance language to insult King Lear. What's he that hath so much thy place mistook to set thee here? Why are you here? So it is both he and she, your son and daughter. Your son means whose son? Gloucester's son, and
King
yes,
Lear's daughter.
King Lear's daughter.
ma'am, what does this whole para means?
That fool
The
says.
all the lines which yes, ma'am.
Fool is saying that he wears cruel garters. You know, horses are tied by their, if you want to place horse at one place, you tie by the heads. Same you do with put a that band around the dogs. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And monkeys, if you want to tie, then you put this thing, rope around their legs. Similarly, men also are tied by the legs like monkeys. Okay. And when a man's over lusty at legs, now he's pointing out to the sexual organ of a man, then he wears wooden nether. A man who does not have his integrity intact. This is for Gloucester. He wears wooden nether stocks. He is bound to run away like this, to be frightened, because his sons will come after him. Okay, to this, yeah. So Kent is saying that it is both. It is not only Gloucester, but even King Lear. They both are suffering because of their children. King Lear, no. Kent, yes. No, I say. He is not ready to believe this. Now King Lear's long speech is there. They don't do it. They would not do it. It is worse than murder. Children should not damage their parents. It is worse than murder to do upon respect such violent outrage. Resolve me with all modest haste, which way thou mightst deserve, or they impose disuses coming from us. Now he wants to reach Regan because he is still sure that Regan is going to accept him. Now again, then fool's dialogues are there, and then King Lear again. I think we can skip all these things because he has not reached Regan yet. Now come to, okay, let's not skip it. There is King Lear's longest speech. The king would speak with Cornwall. Cornwall means husband of Regan. Got these lines? The king
Yes, ma'am.
would speak with Cornwall. The dear father would with his daughter speak. Commands her service. I command that Regan come before me. Right? Are they informed of this? Has anyone told Regan that I have reached the boundary of his kingdom, of a kingdom, my breath and blood? That means Regan, now he is saying that Regan is his breath and blood. Fiery, the fiery duke, tell the hot duke that no, but not yet. Maybe he is not well. He has not come because infirmity doth still neglect all office. Infirmity means when a person is not well, he may not attend to his duty. Whereto our health is bound, we are not ourselves. If our health is compromised, if we are not healthy, then we are not ourselves. We cannot behave in our natural way. When nature, being oppressed, commands the mind. If a human being is not healthy, then even mind does not properly work to suffer with the body. It suffers with the body. So I shall forbear and am fallen out with no more headier will. Actually, what is happening? He is standing out of the kingdom and no one is coming to attend him. And so he is just thinking that probably Duke of Cornwall is not well, and that is why he is not welcomed. Actually, what has happened is that Oswald had reached Regan and told her that father is waiting and you should not receive. Right? Now here Regan comes. Regan's first dialogue is, I am glad to see your highness. I am happy that you are here. Now King Lear says, Regan, I think you are. I am sure that you are. I know what reason I have to think so. If thou should not be glad, I would divorce me from thy mother's tomb. Sepulchring an adulteress. Adulteress means one who has marriage out of a child out of marriage. That woman will be called adulteress. If you didn't welcome me, I would think that you are not my daughter and your mother had relationship with other person, so I would divorce her from her. I would pull her out of the tomb. Right? Again, see, in Renaissance age, whatever was considered with the birth, it was always women who was considered responsible. Right? Now again, Regan is saying, I pray you, sir, take patience, have patience. I have hope. You less know what to value her desert than she to scant her duty. You should value her desert, whatever she is giving you, who Goneril is giving you, you should give value to it. Then she to scant her duty. She will not fail in her duty. She is taking support of Goneril. I cannot think my sister in the least would fail her obligation. I am sure that my sister cannot shirk off her responsibility, obligation, responsibility. If, sir, perchance she have restrained the rights of your followers, your knights, they were making nuisance there, so she stopped them, restrained them. It is on such ground and to such wholesome end as clears her from all blame. I don't blame because your knights are really very troublesome. So King Lear says, my curse is on, I am cursing. So Regan says, oh sir, you are old. You are an old man. Nature in you stands on the very verge of her confine. You should be ruled. You are the person who does not have control over your senses. You are so old. You should be ruled. And someone should lead you that discerns your state better than you yourself. So it is your care will be taken off. You have to be disciplined. Therefore, I pray you that to our sister you do make return. You need not stay with me. You go back to Goneril. Say you have wronged her. Go and say that you are sorry for your behavior. King Lear says, ask her forgiveness. Do you? But mark how this becomes the house. Dear daughter, I confess that I am old. Now he is kneeling and praying, dear daughter, please let me in. He is so tired. So age is unnecessary. On my knees I beg that you shall vouchsafe me raiment, bed, and food. You will give me all the clothing, bed, and food. I'm just kneeling before you. Good sir, no more. These are unsightly tricks. Don't play upon me. Don't make me emotional fool. Return you to my sister. Go back to the sister. Never again. She has abated me of half my train. She has abated me, pulled 50 of the knights from my train. Looked black upon me, looked at me angrily, struck me with her tongue. She has spoken bad words. Most serpent-like, she has behaved like a snake upon the very heart. All the stored vengeances of heaven fall. May all the revenges of God fall upon her ingrateful top, on her head. Strike her young bones, all the young bones be shattered. You taking airs with lameness, you don't understand. King Lear, you nimble lightnings, dart your blinding flames into her scornful eyes. Now, Regan is looking at him very angrily, so he is praying. You nimble lightnings, you are just not powerful enough. I want you to be just like flames and go into the eyes of the daughter. Infect her beauty, beauty be destroyed. You fen-sucked fogs, drawn by the powerful sun, to fall and blast her pride. She is full of pride, so just the strong rays of the sun should fall upon the daughter, and she should be burned. Oh, the blessed God, so will you wish on me when the rash mood is on. Now you are in rash mood, and so you are wishing all such bad things for me. No, Regan, thou shalt never have my curse. Thy tender, hefted nature shall not give thee over to harshness. You again, he is begging. You know, sometimes he is just begging, sometimes he is cursing. So his mood is just swinging between the two extremes. Good sir, to the purpose. Who put my man in the stocks? Tuck it within the again. What trumpets? There's some sound is coming. I know my sisters. He says that Goneril has come here now. This approves her letter. She has come to help me. Right now, again enter Goneril. And to Goneril he says, are not ashamed to look upon this beard. Do you see my beard, how old I am? Oh Regan, wilt thou take her by the hand? Oh Regan, please help me. Now he's begging Regan. Why not by the hand, sir? Goneril, how have I offended? All's not offense that indiscretion finds and dotage turns so. Now you are just shouting off. Now basically what is happening that they are, both the girls, they have stood against their father and they say that they are not going to let him in, and this father has got no place to go. Okay, have you got to say something here? Because now I'm going to read the most important these lines by King Lear now. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
King Lear. Now these lines are really very important. I pray thee, I pray to you, daughter, do not make me mad. I think I am turning insane. I will not trouble thee, my child. Farewell. Pray, daughter, don't make me mad. I am not going to trouble you. I am leaving you all. We shall no more meet. I am saying goodbye to you forever. No more see one another. Now I am not going to see any of my daughters. But yet thou art my flesh, my blood, my daughter. Or rather a disease that's in my flesh. But at this stage, I wonder. But yet thou art, that you are you my flesh, my blood, my daughter? Or Is it that you are a disease that I hate? You have made me fall sick. As a disease would kill a person of physical sickness, so in the same way, a bad child can play upon the mental health of parents and make father mad, which I must needs call mine. Thou art a boy. You are a boil. Boil means छाला. A plague sore. एक ऐसा घाव जिस पर इन्फेक्शन हो गया है. An embossed carbuncle. वही बीमारी का ही नाम है अगेन. Body में. In my corrupted blood. My blood seems to have corrupted. You are my blood, and my blood seems to have corrupted, and I am suffering from this disease. But I shall not cheat thee. But now I will not come to you. Let shame come when it will. Who will come upon you? Shame. A day will come when you will feel ashamed that you treated your father in this way. I do not call it. I will not call that shame. Shame will come to you by its own. I do not bid the thunder bearer shoot. Now I am not asking thunder bearer to shoot thunder, nor tell tales of thee to high judging love. And I will not speak about you, tales of thee. Your stories will not be told to anyone to judge the love, high judging love. I will not judge the love. Mend when thou canst. I cannot mend the things, the mistake that I had made on that day by saying that tell me, and I was the judge to judge who loves me most. But I am not going to, now I don't have chance to repair that, mend that. Be better at thy leisure. Now things will happen at their own speed, at their own pace. I can be patient. Now what I want is just patience, so that I can rest. I can stay with Regan, I and my 100 knights. Now again see, first he said that I am not going to meet you again, and again he comes to pleading position. That means that this is the point where the king seems to be losing his sanity. He is really becoming mad.
Ma'am, all of this he was saying to both of his daughters or just Gonril?
No, both.
All of this?
Both are there.
Okay, ma'am.
Not altogether so. I looked not for you yet, nor am provided for your fit. I cannot welcome you. Give ear, sir, to my sister. Listen to what my sister is saying, and you should go back to sister. Right? Now, why might not you, my lord, receive attendance for those that she calls servants or from mine? Now, again, same, all these things are going on. Now King Lear says, made you my guardians. I gave the kingdom to you both so that you could look after me. My depositories, all my money to you was deposited, but kept a reservation to be followed with such a number. I didn't keep with me any kind of thing to support me in this old age. What must I come to you with 5 and 20 Regan? Now he's pleading, just let me have 25 knights with me. Not 100, not 50, let me have 25. So, but Regan is saying, no, I won't let you. Okay, so again, this all is going. Now again, King Lear's long speech. Oh, reason not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest thing superfluous. Even the beggars, they are so poor, but they feel they have got so much. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Allow not nature more than nature needs. A man should be given only that much which he can easily digest. Man's life's as cheap as beasts. Man's life is as cheap as any animal's. Thou art a lady, if only to go warm were gorgeous. Women should be warm, they should be welcoming, they should be nourishing. Such women look gorgeous. Why? Nature need not what thou gorgeous wearest. What you wear, that does not decide you, which scarcely keeps thee warm. It will not keep you warm. But For true need, you heavens, give me that patience, patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man, as full of grief as age. As my age is increasing, so is my grief, wretched in both. If it be you that stir these daughters' hearts. Now he's praying to gods, gods, please stir my daughters. Let my daughters get emotional. Let them think about me as a father. Against their father they are standing. Fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Let me not be taken away with my daughter's hatred. Touch me with noble anger, and let not women's weapons, water drops, stain my man's cheeks. My cheeks are the cheeks of men. So these water drops, I don't want it. This is unnatural. Again, the time when it was considered that men should not cry, and such a strong king. No, you unnatural hags. Hags is calling his daughters. You are unnatural. Daughters should not be like this. So you are hags. You are low woman, base woman. I will have such revenges on you both. Again, that anger. So he doesn't know whether he should cry, he should beg, or he should be angry. He is going on and on with all this. And as you know, his mind is there's a storm inside his mind. So the storm comes in the atmosphere also, on the stage also, right? And this scene goes on and on in this way. And finally, in the last, this was what scene? Act 2, scene 4, right? Now, Act 3 of the text is very important. This is the storm scene. And storm scene is the middle part of the text, which is most important because here the play takes the turn. And there is a research question also: did Lear actually, turn blind? No, sorry, turn insane. Here you also get the story of Gloucester, that Gloucester is blinded by Goneril. So here Lear is the one who cannot think, and Gloucester is the one who cannot see, and both this happens because of the children, right? So here we stop, and Act 3 we shall do in our next class after 2 days. Anything you want to discuss? Okay then. So we can close now, and you can switch on your videos for the class.
Ma'am, I have one
Please
question.
switch on the videos. Yes.
Ma'am, in the first scene, there's this conversation between Gloucester and Kent, where you said that this conversation tells us about the society, where he asks him if Edmund is his son. So how does this tell us about the society of those times? Because then Gloucester says that earlier he was ashamed to accept that he was his son, but now he is brazen to it. So how does this tell us about
No,
what does this tell us about?
actually, he is not ashamed. Rich people, that was the age when the children out of marriage lock was not accepted. But all the rich men, most of the rich men, I would not say all, but most of the rich men, they prided themselves on this, that the marriage was usually, a political alliance. That was the age when marriage was a political alliance. Marriage was not out of love. Okay, politically, if the two kings marry their children, then they get a strong alliance, right? So marriages were basically decided on this, and then men were free. They had this opportunity to maintain all these relations also. And such children, no one took the responsibility. Because mothers also, since they would not be accepted in the society, so they used to leave such children. And who used to take care of these children? These children were sent to the convents.
Okay. So now adultery was not considered wrong, a social wrong in those times?
There was no democracy, there was no court. Who was the court? Who was the judge? King, his courtiers, and they were the ones who were making these relations.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So men in part men in power did such things, they
Yeah.
sometimes indulged in extramarital
Yes,
affairs.
they often, not sometimes, they often indulge in
And
such
they were not shamed for it, but the women were, and they were not accepted. The women.
Yes,
they indulged.
women were blamed for this, so women did not accept their children, and their children grew, as you see in the Edmund, in case of Edmund, anyone could take care of such children.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, that means there was such kind of hypocrisy in the society, you may say,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
right? Okay, so I think now we can disperse, and after 2 days. So I believe that in 2 days you would be able to read Act 4, and if possible Act 5 also. Then we shall proceed. Okay. Right. Okay then. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Most
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
most